Good evening, group. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Okay.
Okay, that's a good question. That's a good response. I'm having an okay day too today. So, is this the first time any of you have been to a support group? Yeah. Yeah. No, not for you.
No.
Okay, so for this group, this isn't just a grievance group. This is anybody know what grief is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think it is?
Deep sorrow, especially that's caused by someone's death.
Yeah.
Or in my case, just a loved one.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. That is true.
The loss of something significant.
Yeah.
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 Someone.
Yeah.
That hole it leaves behind and the feeling that you get because of it.
Yeah. No, it's true. And does that always mean that means that person passed away?
No.
It's true. So for these groups, they're really more intimate. They're usually not that big, but they're always open to people. What I like to do is if we could all go around and just introduce who we are, what brought us here. I can start first if anybody, doesn't mind. I've been running support groups for 3 years now. Every day can be a challenge. I lost my sister 3 years ago in a tragic accident. Thank you. And I just didn't know how to move on with life. It was a long time that I just felt stuck. And then I went to a support group and I just thought, wow, I was able to talk and connect with so many people. I just wanted to give that to a lot of people. So I started these support groups and I just keep going with it. And it also helps me so that I feel like I'm more connected with my sister. She's always been very social and always loved to help people. And I felt like this is me honoring her. This is her. I brought a picture of her. I always keep this in my little wallet. She's my best friend. I love her. And I look forward to seeing her one day in the future. In heaven, She's always watching over me. That's my little spiel on my sister.
That's what happened that picture.
Yeah, that was good times. We had a lot of good memories. And I know some people, it's easy for someone to say death is natural, death is beautiful, and different people view it in different ways. But it still hurts, It's very hard to go through. You guys ever heard of the stages of grief? There's 5 of them. So there's always that initial stage of denial, of not really accepting that this person passed away. No, this can't be real. It's just hard to accept that they're even gone, right? It took me a long time I think even to get through the first stage, probably years. Then we went to stage number 2 is anger, because let's face it, are we happy when someone dies? No. Sometimes we're clearly always sad, but sometimes we're really upset because we're like, bargaining is stage 3, just coming to terms with where things are, just kind of figuring out what the next steps are. It's hard to really be accepting of all those things, which also leads to depression in stage 4 or 5, finally accepting it. So I think there's always a fine line in where we stand. So I put those stages up there because I'm not gonna expect anyone here to really know where they are with their stages, but
I'm all over the place. I feel like, I don't know,
well, first, what's your name?
Oh, sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm John.
John. Welcome to the group.
No, thanks. And my situation is not exactly the same as everyone else's. I brought this picture to show you. And this picture is actually a picture of my son. My son is now 19,
Okay.
and he's in college, and he's doing well, and he's finding his way in the world as a young man. And you're saying to me, what the hell are you doing here in a grief support group, right? Well, look at the picture. My son is transgender. He was born female, and so for the first 11 years of his life, he was raised as a girl until he expressed his identity, So for 11 years, I had a daughter, Daddy's little girl, pigtails and dresses and ribbons and My Little Ponies and purses and all of those things that and just that feeling of protecting your little girl and you know, I can't explain it, but I had a daughter. And then she went away. So, and she's never coming back, you know, so what do you do with that? Like, I look at my son sometimes and I feel angry and I'm in all of these things, this denial stuff too, because like, no, because, but my denial is not like, oh, you know, she's gone. It's like, this is still the same person.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Have you shared your feelings with your son?
Of course not.
Yeah.
Because I don't want him to feel guilty or ashamed of who he is or somehow obligated or responsible to be something that he's not. I love him and support him fully for who he is. He's wonderful. You know, I'm lucky I still have my child, but
You miss your daughter?
I do. So I don't know that you know, if I could just, I go sometimes, I wake up like this bargaining thing and say, if I could just for 5 minutes, one hug, one little ponytail, one little anything, you know, and I get upset, I get depressed, because it's never coming back, and it's just, it was never a real thing. The hardest part to come to terms with, it wasn't real, you know, to him anyway. It wasn't who he was.
Did you even know about the transgender community? How was that hard for you to kind of just accept? Like, how is it in your house? You know what I mean?
You know, what's most important is that my child is loved and accepted for who they are. That's it. So that was never the question. That was never, things are wonderful. It's just, for him, the struggle is that it's not real. You know, he's not a girl. So that wasn't real. Now he is who he is, and he's this person, but there was somebody there.
Yeah.
You know, there was somebody there, and you say the name now, and you say all these other things, and it's just it's an echo of a person who was never really there in the first place, but there. Do you know?
Yeah.
So that's where I am. Sorry to take up all that time.
No, you didn't take up any time. I think you speak, what you've said spoke volumes, you know, in some sense, you know, you love your child. That's never going to go away.
Yeah.
But you miss your daughter.
I'm lucky to
And that is still a very sensitive topic, if you think about it.
I'm lucky to have my child. I am. I'm lucky because I didn't lose my child. That light didn't go out. But
I'm happy he has supportive parents too.
It's like having, almost like his twin died, you know? Almost, it's like I've been grieving the loss of,
that's still living.
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And that's probably what's even harder because, I mean, and I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth here, but for all of us who have lost someone, you know, sometimes we visit a grave. Sometimes
There is nothing like that. I have these.
That's hard.
And I see my son in these pictures, and I can see it in his eyes, I can see in his you know, his smile, all of that, but I'm still looking for that.
Do you have any picture of him today?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact.
You gonna go to your car? No problem.
I'm just gonna go to my book bag over here on the shelf.
Oh, okay, great.
So I did bring that because I thought you would ask.
Uh-huh.
So this is him today. So I'm just gonna put this next to this just to see the difference.
Yeah.
So you can see he's happy, and you can see he's all of these things, but if you look, you can see, and you know, now that he started on testosterone and he's shaving now, and he's losing like the hips and all the telltale signs and stuff, it's just getting harder and harder, and it's all coming back up again. So that's why I came here to try to find some peace.
Well, thank you for sharing, John. Anybody has something they want to share? Hi. Welcome to the group.
Thank you. So I'm here because my sister passed away.
How long ago?
About 3 months ago. And she's my twin sister, actually.
You guys are identical twins? Fraternal?
Yeah. I have her picture in my locket. Pretty close to me.
she died in a car accident, and so it was quite sudden, and it's so hard. I mean, she's my twin. Like, just I feel like I lost a part of myself, and you know, we would, you know, that whole saying, like, twins can, you know, understand each other and like know what each other's are thinking about, and they think the same thing, and that's how we were. We're really close.
And you suddenly feel far more alone than you've ever felt in your whole life.
Yeah.
And that's what grief is, feeling alone like you've never felt alone.
And sometimes feeling, even to piggyback off of that, it's like no one gets it.
No.
You can't take it away. You fall asleep this way, you wake up this way. How does it get better? Right?
Does it get better?
It does with time. I had someone tell me a long time ago that you never stop loving someone, you never stop missing them, but as time goes on, what you learn how to do is live with them not being there, or learn to just cope with it easier, because you're always gonna miss them. And that's very easy to say. I'm 3 years in and I have days where I'm like, oh, Chrissy, come on, we're gonna go. We gotta go to work and just talk to people. And then there's days that I'm a mess. It's like if it happened an hour ago. You know, it's just finding what coping strategies works for you. That is the goal of this group, because we're all gonna bring a lot to the table that can be a lot. And if anything, I hope that we can take something away from it, from each other. So we look to each other for support, for guidance of things that works for them, things that don't. And even outside of here, you see that call log there too. Anyone could always sign up their names if they feel like they want to just connect with someone who understands where they are. Because some people, I don't know if you heard those things, just snap out of it. Or go do something else. Or go have another kid. Or go get married. It's crazy the things some people say, I have to tell you. But it's so beyond that, you know? It really is.
I feel like I'm at, if we're talking about stages, I'm at an angry stage.
Yeah.
Because I'm supposed to get married soon, and she was supposed to be my maid of honor. And I'm so angry she's not going to be there.
So what are you guys thinking about doing for the wedding? Are you going to make like a memorial station for her there? Or?
Probably, yeah. My mom really wants me, and she mentioned it, and I think that's a good idea for the whole family. And I'll probably mention how she's a new maid of honor, but then again, I don't know. I don't want to make it awkward for the next person in line.
Are you gonna have a different maid of honor? Or you're not sure yet?
There's nothing wrong with, even if you choose a different maid of honor,
Yeah.
just putting a framed photograph of your sister right in the spot where the maid of honor would be.
Yeah.
Just right there, so
Yeah.
she's there.
That's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And your locket,
I love
having it close to you. That's sweet too.
Yeah.
But I just want to touch upon real quick. I know you were talking about angry, and that's normal to be angry. But I wonder, where is your anger driven to? Is it to you, like to your sister, or to the person who caused the accident?
It's both. The accident, and she's not going to be there for me with the wedding. When I thought she was going to be there, and she's not going to be there. So I'm really angry about that. I mean, I know it's not her fault, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say that about the driver that killed her, but I'm just angry about the whole situation. Why me? Why now? Why 6 months before my wedding? Why? You know, I needed her there. I needed her to support me, and I don't have that person anymore.
Mhm.
And she was always the person I could talk to about everything,
Yeah.
and then to lose that person, to be able to get on that level and never have them there again, I'm just like, who the heck is gonna fill that void?
I don't think anyone will fill that void. She's always gonna have that special place in your heart. Very special place in your heart, you know? I have a few activities that I'm brainstorming in my mind that maybe we can try and that may help with some of it, you know, with how you're feeling. It's worth exploring. Let's finish seeing what's going on with our other group members here today. Hi.
Hello, my name is Ashlee.
Hi, Ashlee.
And my uncle died June 12th of this year of a drug overdose.
Oh, wow. What did
Yeah.
you say?
Yeah, it was my mom's brother.
Mm-hmm.
He was my only uncle.
Were you close to him? Yeah. You're in a safe place here, honey.
Mhm.
Okay, we can always come back to
Yeah,
it.
we'll come back
Oh, you don't have to
today.
always share the first time.
Yeah.
Alright? You don't have to be sorry, honey.
Sorry, we've all done it.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah. And sometimes we are still there, you know? There's nothing wrong with
Let me
crying.
tell you. About 3 weeks ago, I was at my kitchen sink peeling eggs because you know I like eggs and egg salad, and I was cracking the eggs, and I was cracking them on the counter, and I was rolling them, and the next thing I knew, something triggered me, and I was on the floor in my kitchen, unpeeled eggs all over the floor around me, sobbing like a child. Over what? I still don't know to this day, but it came up and it came out, and as hard as it is, you just gotta embrace it.
Yeah.
You have to let it go. You have to. Because tears are love at this stage, you know, when somebody moves on, tears are love. Your sadness is just you feeling that love and knowing it's not there, and that's hard, but
Yep.
you gotta do it.
Oh my God, John, I really love those kind words.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great way to put it.
Mm-hmm. Tears are love.
Got a lot of it lately.
Let 'em out.
What's the name of this group? Group Solid? Let's do it.
Let's all just
Waterworks. So
let
what
it
I got
out.
Waterworks,
waterworks.
let's do
That's
it.
a good one.
I'm one of those too. We can come back to you, Ashlee.
Yeah.
You don't have to share today either, honey.
Just know we're here for you.
Just know you're here. Take a picture of all those phone numbers. That's all of our numbers there. If you ever need to talk to someone,
You know how to get a hold of us.
and you know every Tuesdays and Thursdays we're here. Okay, honey? We'll come back to you. We'll check back in. Okay? We're good to go on. All right.
So I thought that I was going to talk about something else, but John's story inspired me to talk about another grief that I didn't even realize I was feeling until John's story. So similarly, but not similarly, I have a brother
Yeah.
who was in an accident,
Mhm.
and he suffered from a TBI.
Mhm.
So he
So
is.
what's a TBI for some
Oh,
people
for
who
those
don't
of you who don't know, traumatic brain injury.
Okay.
Basically, he bumped his noggin real hard, really, really hard, and he is just a different person. So there are a lot of days where you wake up and you realize that you're never going to get the person who was back. And they say, you know what they always say? They say, well, he was going to change anyways. He was only 18.
Yeah.
As if that's supposed to make it better. You know, they were going to grow. He was going to change, and it's just a different type of change. And I feel like you often hear, you know, like John kept saying, like, I should be grateful because, you know, I still have my child. And, you know, I often hear, well, aren't you grateful because he's here? And it's like, yeah, like you say yes, but it's,
You still miss them.
yeah.
They
like
gave you
still,
back the wrong person.
yeah.
Somebody came and stole that person from you and gave you back a different
And
version.
you love them all the same, but you can't even say it's all the same.
It's
a
the
different
knockoff
love.
version of the
Yeah.
name brand.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
exactly
much.
what it feels like. You try to pretend it's the same thing, and just sometimes it's not.
Yeah, especially when they make you upset. I often find, even my mother, we're always saying, like, yeah, we love him, but it's hard to be so happy with a person, like, because of all of his needs. It's a lot harder now.
So what are the things that he needs now? What makes him so different than what he was?
He has anger issues. It's kind of, when he was witty and funny and smart, and now it's kind of like he has very mild autism. So he has a lot of anger issues. He has emotional control issues, impulse control issues, lying issues. So it's like they gave us back the difficult version. Like it sounds negative to say,
but
it's
you're
just
a safe
the
place to
honest
talk about
version.
this.
So yeah, you don't realize, like, I mean, I've definitely realized it in the past, but sometimes it just, John's story made it hit a lot harder today than it
Sometimes
was
it's
doing
just not
earlier.
okay. That's the hard part. Is that
Yeah.
sometimes it's just not okay to. you try to move on, and you try to live your life, and you try to be like,
You try to be
find
very
joy
grateful.
in the things that you can find joy in, but it's just, it's not the same sometimes. And sometimes I look at this picture and I think back of all the times, like, if I had known that there was only going to be that much time, I would have tried a little harder, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have tried, and I'm ridiculously tearing up over some stuff that's apparently pretty emotional for me, but
Well, because it's very real and
like
very raw.
before, you just, like, it's the same person, but it's just not.
It's different.
I think in terms of, this is very different for our groups. I'm going to be very honest with you, John and Gabby, but I have to tell you though, I appreciate everything you're bringing to the table, because if anything that I hear, you are grieving. And I think what's even harder is you can't even really say how you really feel.
It feels like that Angelina Jolie movie when she was in the 1920s and her son went missing, and she got her son back, and she was like, this is not my child, this is not my son, this is not him, this is not that version, and everybody's like, you're crazy, but it was an alien version. It's
Yeah, and
It's
it also
different.
feels like too, like you can't talk about it the same that you can other grief,
Yeah.
because you almost feel like you're diminishing somebody else's grief because somebody
yeah.
physically lost somebody.
In my case, I'm diminishing someone else's joy,
Not too.
your identity. How dare I ask for something that's a step back for somebody?
Yeah.
How dare I? But
You're entitled to your own feelings.
We
That's
all
why I
are.
want this room and this space to always feel like it's open to people to really express how they feel, because there are some emotions, unfortunately, that we really can't share with certain people, because we don't want to make them feel that we don't love them. We don't want to make them feel like that we're not accepting of them, or that we missed something, or that they're a part of a problem.
Or even that
You know?
somebody's grief is lesser.
yeah,
Yeah,
yours.
sorry.
absolutely.
Let's. I'm sorry. Let's.
You don't need to
let's not
apologize.
What are
talk
you
about
Grief is
apologizing
grief.
for?
And
I don't even know.
I thank you for
I
sharing.
think that's a natural instinct when people tear up. We're always like, oh, I'm sorry. As if we're not all doing it.
What did
too.
you just say to us a few minutes ago about tears? Do you remember?
Here's a love.
You got a lot of love. You got a lot of love for your son. You got a lot of love for your brother. You got a lot of love for your uncle. You have a lot of love for your sister. I have a lot of love for my sister. You know? Why don't we take this time to share something like a very happy memory of, even if it's just one, a moment, an experience, something that you can say about the person you've mentioned today.
I'll go.
Okay.
So we have a lot of happy memories because I think my brother is the funniest person on the planet.
Okay.
Even post-accident, he managed to keep his humor.
That's
But
good.
I think the happiest memory was definitely getting to bring him home on Christmas Eve. So that was really awesome.
Mine was, so I had my daughter at 16, so going to school was always my struggle. And I finished with my bachelor's in 2017.
Good for you.
My uncle was always so proud of me, so he was at my graduation, and when I got off the stage, he was the first one waiting. Yeah, he just hugged me and always said, I'm so proud of you, kid. And he would always say to me, you always said that you weren't going to make it, and I always said you were. I believed in you. And that was probably my last really good memory with him.
That is a beautiful memory. It keeps you driven, it keeps you focused, and beautiful.
So proud of you.
Thank you for sharing.
Holly, talk to me about your sister.
Let's see. Had a lot of good memories. But what stands out to me the most was probably like my hardest time. Was when I was like in middle school for like a good 2 summers. We had the best time camping.
Oh,
We
okay.
did that so much, and she was such a ball with cooking and putting the tent up or trying to get the tent up, and it was just a lot of joy on the dumb things we were laughing at, and it was good because it kept me sane.
Yeah.
So yeah, those memories, yeah, those are good.
Do you still go camping?
I do, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It'll be different this year, but
She'll be there in spirit,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I got it hit by it.
Mm-hmm.
It was really
What about you, my dear John?
Can I tell you all a story?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you all a story about this child. Like, the hardest part was, like, you know, you learn all the little things. You learn all the little things. Like, kids do the funniest things. And one time, we were living in this apartment, right? And there were these stairs. Now, picture it. You walk into the apartment, and it was like a townhouse. So the stairs come down here, right? And then you go down this middle hallway to, like, the living room area. So there I am, and I'm sitting in the living room, and my 4-year-old comes down the stairs, and I'll never forget, not very big, so always coming down the stairs holding on to the railing like this, sideways, comes down, and she had this doll named Shoot that she's had since forever, right? Since the day she was born, my mother gave it to her, and she comes in, and I'm going to do it. Doll underneath the t-shirt. Hi, Daddy. Hey, sweetie, what you doing? I'm having a baby. You are? Yep. There it is. So then, this kid, 4 years old, walking back down the hallway to go back up the stairs, stops and goes, huh! There you go, I just had it. And just kept talking. And I was like,
love kids.
but you're just gonna leave your baby on the
I needed
floor.
that laugh.
Yeah.
Now mind you,
Yes.
now mind you, probably from the cat. Like we had a cat forever ago that was like having babies on the way down the stairs,
Mhm.
so like literally dropping
Mhm.
kittens. But
What?
it was like, aren't you gonna pick up this doll,
Mm-hmm.
or like this baby? Yeah, but it's a doll. Like, don't I get it? You know? And then we sat down and had milkshake races. I used to drink these protein shakes, like fruit flavored, like strawberry and banana. And I would mix them up with extra water so they wouldn't be too harsh. And I'd sit on one stair and the kid would sit on the other one. And we'd have 2 straws and go, ready, go. And we'd drink it as fast as possible. And you know, you always end up drinking 95% of it, but I always left just that little bit so that the kid's straw would make a noise, just so it'd be like, oh, I lost again. It's just, there's a million stories like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell you a million stories. And I can still tell those stories. It's just almost like telling the stories about a different person. You know?
Does he like to, does he like to hear the stories about? No.
He loves to talk about himself. He does. And he's okay with it.
Yeah.
He's okay with it. Like, he's okay with talking about it. He's okay with the pictures. He's okay with all of it. Because that's part of who he
He is,
was.
yeah.
But to him, it was just a phase.
Yeah.
You know, like some kids are emo.
Yeah.
Some kids are into
Absolutely.
dinosaurs. Some
Absolutely.
kids were girls. You know what I mean? Like,
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
but it's the loss of someone. You know, like I still have baby's first photo with baby's first dress. You know, and I still have like, I could show you just pictures of like little flower dresses and little ball. I could go on.
Yeah.
I could go on. But all of that somehow just seems like
I want
like the photos, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I get it 100%. I wanted to take this opportunity to first check in with everyone. I know we're talking about heavy stuff, you know? Is everybody okay? Anybody need a break? Anybody need some water? Need some fresh air? Okay. There's a trick to the toilet, honey. Just in case. Don't worry if it doesn't go down. You know,
Yeah.
still working on that
Efficiently.
problem, you know, with the toilet.
Yeah, your receptionist said it would be fixed by this Thursday since the park's coming in.
Yeah,
Oh, that must be nice.
we shall see.
Your receptionist, Rachel.
Yes,
So great.
not my receptionist.
No, that's what I mean. She's so great, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
We love Rachel.
So when Ashlee comes back, I wanted to start an activity, you know, just to kind of think about where we can, it's involving like a letter. You can write a letter, or you can draw a picture to your sister, or to your brother, or to your uncle, or to your son, you know. So I wanted to take the opportunity I'm going to give everyone a piece of paper. You can either draw something that speaks to the person that you miss, write something, and in the end, you can share, or you can keep it private and you know, revisit it at another time or at another session, okay? So I'm going to give everyone a board.
Oh, a board.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So this, my dear, would be for you. You. This is gonna be for you. Okay. Let me find another board. This will be for you.
Thank you.
And then there we are. Now we have some pens here. If anybody wanted to write something or somebody wants to draw something, we do have like, let's see what I got going on
Can
here.
I draw a picture with just a pen?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what are we doing?
Well, I want you to be inspired by the person you lost. So we can write a letter to this person about where we're feeling today. We can draw a picture of a memory. I just want them to be the inspiration of where you are in this very moment. If you can tell them something that you've never been able to say, you can write it, you can draw it. You don't have to share it with them if you don't want to. This can be just for you. You can share it with us as a group. You can revisit it at another time. It's just about checking in where we are. I'm going to do the same activity.
There's a song playing in my head
What song is that?
that when my kiddo was born, when I found out that I would be able to bring her home from the hospital, like the whole fostering, started the whole relationship thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was a song on the radio when I found out, and it was just appropriate. Do you mind if I play it?
Yes, play it. Is it the group good with that?
Yeah. I like music.
We all know it. But this is still our song to this day. Oh, I can get a little emotional, but here we go.
Sorry, I think we've all gotten
Yeah, we all got in there. I just love listening to the lyrics.
What a cool song to have for your song.
It's our song. You know the song, right?
Yes, I do. Is this Sweet Child of Mine? I love this song.
The part that strikes me always more than ever. Where do we go now?
Can you smell that? Oh, it's the Sharpie. I'm like, oh, someone's getting me an eye over here.
It's me.
Maybe I'll smell toast.
It's not easy be missing a part of you that you can't replace. But it is my hopes that through these groups we'll learn how to start living our lives in a different way. No, keep your music on.
This
It's
is
inspiring.
this is reminding me of when I got to see a counselor in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
She told me to draw a picture of my parents and my family. And that's not what you asked us to do, it's just what I am doing, so now I feel like a child.
This group is to help us also just kind of figure out. Sometimes just go to the basics of what you know to help you get through the moment. Sometimes we make things even more complicated for ourselves because we're not sure where to go with these feelings that just don't go away, right? So my hope is that we just learn different ways to keep the person's memory alive.
You know, and all of this is okay. It's natural, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I should be playing Elton John singing about the circle of life somewhere.
I hear you.
But some days it's just legitimately hard and it catches you by surprise. Even still all these years later.
Yes, it does. This is the circle of life, and it's hard to swallow that big pill of loss and grief.
When we are done, do you want us to just put the pen down?
Yes. I'm gonna give everybody a few more minutes. And if you're not done, that is fine, but we'll check in.
See, I'm almost done.
Yeah,
I'm almost done.
yeah.
Yeah. I already finished it.
You already finished that?
Where do we
This
go?
is your part.
Mhm.
There we go.
Where does that take you? John, when you hear that part.
It's, you know, I know the answer. We just keep going forward, but
I feel like this song and that part of the song must be applicable to all parts of parenting.
yeah.
Like when you brought him home, when he told you who he really felt he was, now that he's transitioning into what it sounds like adulthood. You know, what you know, I feel like that's parenting in general.
Always my little, always my little, always. You can't take that away, but
And that will never change.
always my little squish bucket. Well, I'm ruined for the rest of the night.
I'm sorry.
Sam.
All right, let's check in.
Okay.
Wherever we are. Anybody wants to share? I mean, I can start if you want.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool from here.
Well, let's see what you got.
So I just started scribbling a lot of different things because this is my mind, my feelings. Sometimes I'm just lost in my feelings. Losing my sister is never an easy thing to even out of the words, right? So I just think I'm a ball of a mess, and I try to color in where I am. So many parts of me is missing, but I keep going and try to make some sense of my chaos, and I'm lost. So I'm stuck, right? 3 years later, and sometimes I'm still stuck because I can't find the missing link, because I can't hug her, touch her, hear her, look at her. So I don't know. Every time she used to love to draw. She didn't know how to draw. She would just scribble, and she would say, "Just color it in. It's gonna look cute." And he does. She was always right. My sister was always right. So that's kind of what I did. And then you kind of think of where she was and where I am at the moment.
I guess we'll just go down the line if that's okay. I drew this picture of, this is supposed to be my house.
Mm-hmm.
It's my family. And it's Christmas Eve with a little tree up in there and our little wreath on the, this is what our barn looks like. But I drew Christmas Eve because this is when we got to take my brother home from the hospital. They told us he'd be in the hospital for 3 months, and so he's the best Christmas present my family ever got. A little bow on his head. And he's got no hair because they shaved it all off for his brain surgery. But I thought that this would be a fun one instead of writing him a letter.
Okay.
I wrote a letter. I just wrote, Dear Uncle Jim, I'm sorry I wasn't sad right away. I just couldn't believe it. I'm sorry I didn't cry for weeks. I tried really hard to cry, but the tears just wouldn't fall. I promise you I tried. I'm sorry I got hurt on the day of your funeral. You deserved your day to be mourned, and I stole that from you. I loved you so much. You're my favorite uncle. You always reminded me of how amazing I am. I thank you for that. I promise you though, the tears soon did fall, actually poured out, and the pain was so severe it crushed me. I couldn't breathe. Now all I feel is pain. I miss you. Thank you for listening.
So I got a letter and a picture. I put, Dear Isabella, I love you so much. Miss you so much. I can still hear you laughing. Wish you'd be there for my wedding, but if you weren't there, you're there in spirit. I wanted us to have our children grow up together. I wanted to grow old and hang out at Dunkin's with our old friends. And, when you mentioned about, good memory, I forgot to, we would always kayak, so I just kind of made, us kayaking together.
Kayaking sisters.
Yeah.
I did not write a letter. I did not draw a picture. I simply scribbled a little bit and sat and just lived in the good memories, and I just tried to remember all the good things, and I still have a lot of those good things, but I don't know, I don't even know how to say it, just letting myself feel it, letting myself feel all the good things, and a lot of grief is about processing and protecting yourself, and grief comes to protect you from the things you don't want to face.
Yep.
In a lot of ways, but just letting it, I'd rather cry tears of happiness, and remember when.
Well, I just want to say,
generally have to do that.
I want to say to everyone in this group, thank you for participating, thank you for coming. I think that before we end this group, there's just a few things I wanted to just mention. I think from this group, we were able to learn a lot of different ways to cope with ourselves, our feelings, our baggage, or however people want to call it, right? So I loved John's idea with music, and I know that song means so much to him, but music helps so many people, just drive through this adventure we call life and everything else that comes with it in terms of even losing and not having someone there anymore. I think it's important also. Writing a letter, screaming, crying, drawing, trying to find yourself. It's always okay to do all these things. Turn to people when you need advice and never think that, something is off because of the way you're feeling. Everything takes time. We're here Tuesdays and Thursdays. And before we leave, let's just take some few deep breaths and just check in with everyone before we leave, okay? So everyone close their eyes. Let's take a deep breath in. And take a deep breath out. Another breath in. Just thinking about the people we love. And take a deep breath out. The memory will never be gone. It's always with us. One more deep breath. And out. Thank you guys for coming tonight. How's everyone feeling before they're leaving?
I ate a grilled cheese sandwich and
And a tomato soup? Maybe?
That's the next support group over, friend.
Yeah. But thank you guys for coming. Remember, Ashlee, I know you're struggling a lot, honey. please, we're here to support you
Yes,
as well.
please call us.
I know you have a big family, but we're here if you need us. And we look forward to seeing all of you. I look forward to seeing all of you on Thursday. Okay?
Sounds
Thank you
good.
so much.
you.